Hi, so the first question is, why is it important to help children see a purpose for reading and for personally valuing reading? Well, it's important to help children see a purpose for reading because they're going to be reading for their entire lives. They need reading to help them understand and comprehend the different subjects they'll be learning. So even if they don't particularly love reading, they still might find reading in social studies or science enjoyable. Even math has reading, decoding, and learning about different programs involves reading. For personally valuing reading, it's good for children to understand that different people have different perspectives, and so if they value reading, then they'll be able to see through their reading all the different perspectives of characters, and even characters that might be like them. So reading, in a way, can help children feel more comfortable in the school environment if they find books that they can relate to and that help them get through their day or help them understand different things that might be going on with their own lives. It's important for children to see themselves as a reader so that they can feel like they have a purpose for being at school and they have a purpose for reading these books. And there are many different genres of books for children to get into. There's informational books and adventure books, so it's important for them to value different sorts of books so that they can have fun during reading time. Second question is, what are some things teachers can do to help children see purpose and find more value in reading? Well, one of the reasons why we read is to gain the different perspectives of various characters. And so teachers can have children get into small group discussions about what they liked about a book, what they liked about a character, how they think a character should have done something differently maybe. And that can help children see that, oh, this is why we read, because I need to know that this person feels a certain way, even if I don't necessarily feel that way. It's still important to engage and learn new information, and even to discover just facts, maybe not even perspectives, but facts, so that children can find a way to explore and find creative outlets in their lives. And teachers can also introduce students to a variety of genres. Like I said before, there's adventure books, information books, lots of nonfiction books, even historical fiction. Some children prefer more of a history side. If they really like science, then there are some fiction books that are interwoven with science, like sci-fi. Some kids really enjoy that. Teachers can also incorporate non-traditional literature pieces into their classroom, such as comic books, graphic novels, even readers' theater scripts. Children might not necessarily at first like reading books, but maybe there's a movie they really like that has a book, and scripts from the movie can interest kids, and maybe even during center time they can act out those scenes or just sit down and read them. Also, audiobooks are good for children to listen to because it helps them start out reading. So if maybe reading isn't their favorite thing, if they hear someone else reading with excitement and they have a purpose for reading clearly marked within their voice, then the children will react to the person reading on the tape and they'll find more joy in their own reading later on. Third question is, how can literature help us process life and encourage people to consider differing perspectives? Culturally authentic pieces of literature help us understand that there are many, many, many different cultures outside of our own culture, and they help us learn about those cultures. Students of different cultures oftentimes appreciate having culturally diverse books in the classroom because it shows them that even if a classroom is just one majority, then they're still respectful of other cultures. And children who come from a very tight-knit community where there might only be one or two ethnicities know that there's a much larger outside world, and it's full of information and different holidays, different traditional pieces that are really great for children to learn about. Thinking critically about literature, we can form our own opinions as well while considering the perspectives of other people. So it might not even be a culture piece, it could be something just different perspective-wise that children can find engaging. And sometimes children who aren't from the same culture or don't have the same perspective still enjoy reading those types of books because it just expands their mind to something new and interesting. The way an author writes can also engage our brains and minds. So authors that have very intricate styles sometimes, the way they write can persuade us in one person's favor or dissuade us in another person's favor, and it's important for children to learn how to think and form their own opinions. So again, forming group discussions about why they might like doing something as opposed to this character doesn't is important, and which way they want to go on that. What tools have you learned in class to help you use literature as a tool to make positive change? Well, there are a few different things. We've talked about using multimodal pieces of literature. For example, Wonder has songs in the book, and the author conveys how the characters are feeling through songs. So children can create their own songs, or they can learn about artwork or movies, again, that have to do with literature. And that can also show them like how to make a positive change, because if they see that one character relates to a song, then maybe they can explore that song and the meaning behind that song a little bit more, and then they learn like, oh, I never knew this before, and they can see like, maybe something else is like bothering them. Like, for example, we talked about the book Separate is Never Equal in school, so children from that book would learn that the Hispanic culture at that time was not respected in schools and they were segregated. And so children who might have read that book in that time, if it was around then, might have realized, oh, maybe we should make a positive change because that's not right. So books can be very time period oriented, and that can help children to see different flaws within a culture or within several cultures that they might want to make a change about. The last question is, discuss at least 2 literature response strategies from chapter 10 that we've tried in class that I would use in the future, and what did I like about these strategies? Well, the first strategy that I chose is the I statement chart, and I like that one because it allows children to think about what a character would say in a certain situation. So the child has already read the situation, but now they can think of different things a character of their choosing might say, and so that allows them to think from the perspective of that character and think, oh, the character would say this because, or the character would never say this because it's just not in their character. And that also helps them to learn about character development, and that can help with plot development along the way. Another technique that we used that I liked was 1 observation, 1 connection, 1 question, and 1 surprise. And I liked when we used the big chart paper to do this for Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, because I think learning about those different things covers a few of the good bases to touch on. It's really rounded, so children have to think of an observation and a question, a connection, and so they have to think, what did I like about the piece, and they have to go back and cite their sources, so they have to find, oh, I felt this way because, and this was surprising. So it allows the teacher to see how well the child is comprehending the text, and if they need any help with any parts of the text. And they can also see why an author may have included a piece if they go back and look at the piece again. So a section from a book that might have been confusing at the time can sometimes become more clear to a child as they go back and see the significance behind it later on. So even if they make an observation now, they can go back and change it. For example, if the teacher has them keep journals, then the student can realize, oh, this is why the scene was significant. So really going back and backtracking helps comprehension. So those were all the questions, and this is my final. Thank you. Bye.